This is Season 2, Episode 40 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, who has no idea what's going on in this game.
Yes, ironically, we're bringing you another Separatist versus Separatist game, but it is not me versus Sam. Now, apologies in advance for anyone who's a little confused at the timing. This is probably getting uploaded Friday morning before we nip up to Sith Takers, because I won't be around until way late on Sunday evening. But this is the final prep for STO.
Absolutely.
So I have brought the STO list that I'm pretty much decided I'm going to take. I don't actually think it's the best version, but it's the one I've got painted and they look nice. So
to be honest,
I want to take
that's
them.
Kind of all that matters.
I'm realistic. I probably don't make cut on STO. I've never managed it. That's fine. I'm up there for the social and see the people. I'm going to take my nice looking ships. But it's still good. So, optimized no, good yes. And that's fine. And so on that note, I am taking Sunfac with Ensnare, Grivivic Deflection, Predator, and Targeting Computer. I've got General Grievous with Impervium Plating and Solar Swan, 2 bombardment drones with Prox Mines, the Geonosian prototype gunship with shells, Kraken, and stabilizers, and DFS 311 with shells and struts.
So, the standard stuff.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, Ryan's list is interesting. I quite like it.
I thought you might.
We've got Volan Das in the Tri-Fighter with Elusive and Proton Rockets, Dirge in the Rogue class with Synced Laser Cannons, General Grievous with Impervium Plating and Solar Swan in the Belbelub, an Onderon Oppressor in the HMP Gunship with Energy Shell Charges, Count Dooku Crew and Stabilizers, and then DFS 311 and the Howard Child Prototype in Vultures with Energy Shells. And so, the reason I like this is it's the sort of list I've put together-ish, which is essentially Separatist 4 points.
Yeah.
Because they've got a lot of solid 4-point ships in Separatists. And then Ryan has gone down the route of, instead of having a 5th 4-pointer, he's got 2 Vultures, which I quite like. And every single ship is just alright. And that in itself is valuable.
Yeah. So, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, right, although I've got Sunfac at I6, I've got 2 I5s that can shoot fairly decently. Obviously, we've got a matching Grievous. So I'm like, and then you've got the 4-point gunship with Dooku, and I'm like, okay, so I kind of have two target priorities here. I want to kill that gunship because getting Dooku off the wall is great, and B, it's a decent chunk of points hidden behind one green.
Yeah.
But I've also got to be aware of Dirge and Volan, particularly Volan, but Dirge as well. So my kind of plan here is to roughly set up most things heading towards the gunship, but get Sunfac to go play with the I5s.
Yeah, because that should put you at a decent advantage.
That should put me at a decent advantage, and particularly because Volan's got Prockets. If I can start moving him to mess around with that, that's going to be a huge advantage. Ryan is first player for turn 0. And we are playing Salvage, which I think is pretty 50-50.
Yeah, you're both okay with it. You both have ships that don't want to pick up crates, you both have ships that don't care.
Yeah, exactly. And so rocks, I bring 3 small rocks because only one of my ships is landing on rocks, and Ryan brings 3 big because he's got a couple more. And objectives are, I place Ryan goes first and places his sort of. I think the one he placed was which one was it? It was the left-hand side one as he's looking at it.
Right, so it's not quite as far back as it could be. It's almost in the center of that bottom left quadrant, essentially.
Yeah.
It's just over range 2. Basically it's making it so you can't put one easily in that same half.
Yeah. I put mine as close to the middle in the center as I can, so that wherever Ryan puts on my side, I can basically, I want a cluster. Like,
Yeah.
whether I win a straight up joust, I don't know. I think it probably favours me. But I want to get into the scrum, start dropping prox mines. I will take a joust. I've got enough health behind greens and network, and I've got Kraken as well to keep the calculates for sharing, that I should survive the initial engage, and then we start scrumming. Particularly if something's tractoring people.
Exactly.
And then Ryan places it as he's looking at it on the right hand side, as far up my edge as he can get it to the center line. And so I place it on his right edge, on his side, basically as close as I can to the center and the one he's just placed to create a nice little triangle there. And rocks, I can't exactly remember who put which one.
Yeah, so essentially, the center rock and 3 of the outlying ones, the one closest to you and the both on Ryan's side, have rocks next to them.
Yes.
Which I'm guessing was intentional because y'all got vultures, y'all can land on rocks and pick up crates.
Yeah, I think Ryan put the one closest to his, and I put the one closest to mine. And I know I snuck the moustache rock in because I was just trying to get as much up his end as he can to make life harder.
There's 4 rocks on Ryan's side of the board, basically all the way along, hit the center of his path, and there's 2 rocks on your side, and they're both in your right side. So there's a great big gap on your left hand side that you can go into, and essentially that Ryan can go into as well if he goes a bit quick. So it's going to be interesting. There's quite a large area where there aren't really channels you can force people into.
Yes. And so Ryan sets up his wands first.
Yeah, so it looks like DFS 311 is set up on his left-hand side, facing basically to his left and along his board edge. My guess is he's going to turn in and grab a crate.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, the Howard Child prototype is set up to the right of center, basically pointing at the other objective on his side of the board, and I'm guessing we'll go forward and grab a crate.
Yeah.
Like, if they're vultures, they're not subtle.
Yeah, exactly.
They do what they do.
And
then Ryan sets up his 3s?
No,
you got
set my
as well.
1.
Yeah.
And my 2.
Oh yeah, you got 1 and 2. Yeah.
And there is a slight mistake in setup here, and I really need to work on my turn 0, actually, I think. Because I set up DFS below the center line, basically, behind the center crate and the crate that's on my side. And I already had a plan, which was basically, I'm going to sort of slow roll turn 1, and then DFS is probably going to jump past the back crate, try and grab the center crate, while the gunship who's set up directly behind him grabs the back one. What I should have done was just set up further to the left, because I want the engagement to happen in the left where there's space.
Yeah.
I don't need to be directly below it. I just need to be range 1. And also, if I'd had to turn to the right, it gives me more space because I'm further away from the rock.
Yes. Because your gunship can't do a 1 hard, so if you want to keep the formation, you're stuck doing a 2 or 3 hard.
Yeah, exactly. Then Ryan sets up his 3.
His 3. So the gunship literally goes dead center of Ryan's side, facing straight. Basically, literally exactly opposite your gunship and vulture, almost.
Yeah. And I set up my 2 my 2 bombardment drones basically to the left of the vulture, so they can shoot forward with it.
Yeah, shoot forward and throw prox mines on a gunship.
I mean, that's the general way.
So then Ryan sets up Grievous on the very literal far right of his deployment, basically touching the board edge. And so that looks like the, hey, look, Grievous is going to flank. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Sort of move.
So I set up my Grievous on my right-hand side because I'm like, hey, there's a vulture there. Like...
Exactly.
Grievous versus a vulture all day. If Ryan wants to slap Dirge down there out the way, that's fine. Grievous can just turn away. That's all good. Like, yeah. Grievous has got lots of gaps to get through into the center quickly if he needs to.
And then Dirge and Volan come down. So Dirge is deployed on right, like slightly to Ryan's left of center, basically in between DFS 311 and the gunship, pointing through a gap in the rocks. And Dirge is and Volan Das is placed on the right of Ryan's deployment, in between Grievous and the Howard Child prototype, basically facing down the open area. So essentially, Ryan has basically strung out his deployment almost all the way across his side of the board.
Yes.
Which it is interesting because it's not like what you normally see, but it also kind of fits with how this list wants to work. This list is basically, I've got a bunch of people who want to take 1v1s.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can get these 1v1s. And they're all like close enough that they, unless Ryan messes up, you're not going to be taking on one of them at a time, really.
No. I set up Sunfac on my left-hand side, basically in between the gap, in between Volan and Grievous. Because what I'm thinking is if I go slow turn 1 and then try and shoot past turn 2, depending, I know Ryan tends to be quite aggressive, so I was expecting quite a fast move turn 1, turn 2.
Yeah.
Well, certainly turn 1. And if he's gone fast enough, then there's not a whole lot he can do to stop me shooting past. And then if I can get Sunfac in behind Volan and Grievous, happy days. Like, his job is, even if he's not hammering, is just to mess with those two ships, because they're the biggest threat to the rest of my list.
Yeah, and if Volan gets down to 2 dice, all of a sudden he's a vulture.
Yeah. So let's get into it. I am first player for turn 1. And obviously we have quite a lot of overlap. And I just 2 straight with the vulture and calculate.
Ryan's Howard Child is a 2 straight and calculates, and DFS does a 1 hard to the right and calculates. Like I said, they're going to go get those objectives and chill out.
And my gunship and both my my gunship 2 straights and calculates, and my bombardment drones 1 straight and calculate, basically to keep them in line with the gunship, because I'm probably veering the vulture off soon.
Yes. So then the Onderon does a 2 straight and calculates.
My Grievous does a 5 straight. I just focus. I thought about the boost, but I just didn't want to hamstring myself.
Yeah, because I think if you were going to boost, I would have said boost and then don't focus, but then you're just tempting Dirge to shoot you.
Yeah.
Because you want to be not stressed, really.
And the fact DFS could lob a shell at me.
Yes.
Whereas it's just like, this leaves me options. I can go fast at DFS, I can turn into the centre, etc., etc.
Yes. So then Ryan's Grievous, I believe that looks like a 4 straight focus boost.
I believe it was a 5 straight.
Maybe 5 straight focus boost?
Focus boost.
And it's a straight boost. So he's gunning straight down for Sunfac.
Yeah.
Then Dirge also does a 5 straight and a focus boost. As does Volan Das. Yes. Yeah, 5 straight focus boost. So yeah, Ryan is going mega aggression.
Yeah. So I do a 3 straight with Sunfac. And spoilers, I lose. And this plus a token spend is what costs me the game. I'm unlucky, as you'll see. If I'd done the 2, I would have been safe. Yeah. But I honestly wasn't expecting the focus boost from both of them turn 1, because particularly the straight boost from Grievous.
Yeah. So anyway, you tractor your arc forwards and barrel roll yourself to be sitting in front of Grievous, right? Try and get range 3 from Volan.
I didn't, actually.
So you're giving Grievous rerolls?
So because I'm looking at it from my side, and I think we're at range 3 now.
Right.
So I tractor myself, I rotate to the front, and I barrel roll to the right and backwards. Because it looked like I dodged Grievous's arc, or dodged the range, and then I'm bullseye onto Volan.
That's fair. Well, I mean, this is basically, I was like, as long as you're pointing your turret towards Grievous, you're sorted.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fine. Yes, I can't pass off the tractor, but it's range 3, and I get a reroll on defense. So I think
you got range 3 in Gravitic. Yeah. This is okay
for like one thing. I think that's what I thought was 1 attack. That's probably worth it. So I have a range 3 bullseye into Volan. I roll blank, focus. I predator the blank into a focus, and then
I see what your temptation is then.
I spend.
And I think you can't spend.
So the problem I had, my thought was, I was still looking at that going, I'm only taking the shot from Volan. If I can strip that focus...
That is true.
That is, I think, better for me, because I've got a mod on defense. And if Volan has a focus gone, he hasn't. So I spend for 3.
Ryan passes a calculator from DFS to.
Oh yeah,
it looks like you might skip past.
Yeah, we skipped past that. And we went back to it. So
Volan rolls blank. Is that blank focus?
Blank focus. So elusives into a focus and spends.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay.
So you've accomplished what you needed.
Yeah. And then he shoots me back. He gets focus hit, so I'm really happy he spent the focus.
Yeah.
I roll 2 blanks and a focus, so I re-roll and get an evade.
So you dodge Volan.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm like actually quite happy. I'm like,
yeah. Well, at this point, no, it has worked out. I don't know. I think I would have kept the focus just because, but that's maybe me being too safe with Sunfac.
If I'd kept the focus, I would have taken a damage there.
Yes, I am aware that hindsight.
Yeah. No. Yeah, of course we don't know at the time.
Yeah.
But I still think stripping the focus, particularly when it's the only shot coming in. But anyway, we go to Dirge, who I think shoots at 311.
Yeah, I mean he shoots at 311 because you got the calculator, so there's no range bonus. He rolls blank focus crit, spends the focus for hit crit, and looks like DFS spends his calculator to dodge.
I think I spend one of the bombardment drones calculators to dodge.
I mean, that makes sense. That way DFS can keep his calculator.
Because I want to pick up Crate next turn. Grievous just has a range 3 obstructed shot into Dirge, who unfortunately I am in his arc, so nice. And I end up with 2. And he spends to dodge.
He spends his calculator to dodge, it looked like.
Yeah.
And Grievous shoots range 3 at Sunfac.
Yeah, Grievous does have range 3 at Sunfac. But only the focus mod, so okay. He rolls focus crit.
Oof.
I roll focus evade. I re-roll into a blank. So I take a panicked pilot and a loose stabilizer.
Oh.
Yeah. And
that's the worst of all the worlds.
That combination is just is what it like, because the problem is,
tell you what though, hindsight Andy, if you'd kept your focus, actually no, you would have spent it on your first.
I would have spent it on my first, because I didn't think I was in range of Grievous is the thing. Like we still would have had that shot. So yeah, that's
irritating.
Tis
what it is, unfortunately.
It is what it is.
This is the duality of Sunfac, sadly.
Yeah. So the only other shot is my DFS into Dirge, and I
just shell him, right?
I lob off the shell at him, and I roll hit crit. So happy days. And he rolls 2 evades. So I plink the shield off.
All right. So basically, the offense is either all everything or absolute no go.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay there because he's stressed Dirge. I'm thinking, okay, I can stuff the Vulture. I can sweep Grievous in behind Dirge here.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But I'm like, all right, what do I do with Sunfac now? I got to go straight, and I got to go, and I'm double stressed. So no trap to shenanigans. Like,
honestly, I think Sunfac just goes as fast as possible and fixes the loose stabilizer and hopes.
Well, see, my thought was, I assumed he'd 2-bank Grievous. If I'd been in Ryan's shoes, I would 2-bank Grievous. I would have barrel rolled to the left and focused. And I would have... I'm assuming that the Tri-Fighter has a blue 2 straight. It's been a while.
Yeah, blue 2 straight.
I would have done a 2 straight to either to block me doing like a 2 or a 3.
Yeah.
Is what I would have done. So I end up gunning in a 5 straight with Sunfac.
Yeah.
Accepting that I'm still going to be stressed, but that does mean I have to do 2 slow.
It does mean you have to do like a 2 straight next turn, basically.
But I'm like, I can't risk being bumped by them because that would just be him dead.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we go in, and I'm first player for turn 3, and I do I think it was a 4 straight with.
That looks like a 4 straight with DFS.
4 straight with DFS.
And you grab the center crate.
I grab the center crate because I'm thinking Dirge is probably going to 1 bank in, and that's a nice blocking position.
Yeah, Dirge is either 1 banking or 2 banking, I reckon. So the Howard Child from Ryan does a 2 straight, picks up the crate. DFS 311 does a 2 bank to the right, picks up the crate. And DFS 311 is on a rock quite happily.
My Geonation prototype just does a 1 straight and picks up the back crate.
Yep, alright, so we're 2 for 2.
I 1 straight with the yellow bombardment drone. I didn't want to go too fast because I was worried about if Ryan decides Volan doesn't want to try and block Sunfac, just screaming in and putting a procket in the side of.
Yeah.
Should probably point out that I might have been a little biased towards that because this was the second game I'd played against Ryan yesterday evening, and he 1-shot a full health bomber with a procket.
I mean, that is what a procket can do, unfortunately.
Exactly. But I was just like, okay, maybe I was a bit more wary this time of it.
Yeah.
But I take a target.
Yeah, and
sorry, carry
I
on.
say, because it's Volan, the 3 banks are blue.
Yeah. I take a target lock and I lock Dirge because now I've got a double modded shell from the Geonation prototype.
Lovely.
And red 1 straights and calculates because he had his pinched last turn.
The Honor Oppressor, that does look like a 2 straight, opens up the stabilizers. That's slightly faster, maybe. Opens up the stabilizers and calculates in the center. Looks like he was planning on picking up the crate, but unfortunately there's a vulture there.
Grievous does a 3 bank in towards the center. And I barrel roll to the left and I link it to a focus. And in actually watching it back, I generally wonder if I should have gone right. And
yeah, just try and delete DFS.
Delete DFS, make you drop the crate. Like, hindsight's great. I was there thinking, I can get a couple of decent shots into Dirge here. Like, if he bumps where I expected he is, Grievous is getting the range 1 double modded. But yeah, maybe I should have just.
I think you go for DFS there because you double modded range 1. That's good odds at killing him, and DFS doesn't have a calculate, nor does he have access to calculates.
Yeah, and it would stop him doing the give the calculate to Dirge for his sync lasers as well.
Yeah, for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Oh well, never mind.
So Grievous does a 2 for Ryan does a 2 bank to the left, clears the stress, and then there's a straight boost and focus, which, okay, that's fine. It catches you if you go slow, and also I think puts him in range of a bombardment drone.
Yeah.
Dirge then does a 1 bank to the right, bumping into DFS 311, and does not take the red focus.
Nope.
And Volan looks like he does a 2 bank to the left, clears the stress. And I'm assuming focus or focus boost.
I believe he does just focus.
Yeah, just focus.
At which point, I'd immediately regretted not doing the 3 straight to clear one of my stress, because that still would have sailed past. But
yeah, all the 4 straight.
I had to do. So I did a 5 straight. 4 straight's not blue.
It's positive it is.
I'm sure I looked at the dial.
I am unbelievably positive that a 4 straight is blue.
Where are we going? That's Republic, not Separatist. Context. No, 4 straight's white. I thought so.
Oh, wow.
3 straight,
Fair.
2 straight are the only blue straights.
Fair enough.
Otherwise,
I'm probably getting it mixed up with all the droids who can do it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think I might have put in the 4, but that is what it is, and it's unfortunate.
Goes to show how often I find Nantex.
So yeah, we go to shooting, and Sunfact does have a range 2 shot into the Howlchild.
Yeah, may as well take it.
I roll 1 hit, and I get it through.
And Ryan rolls 2 focuses, so damage goes through.
And then his 5 shoot. So he lobs the procket from Volan into the red bombardment drone, and he ends up with hit crit.
Alrighty.
And I roll evade, focus, and I spend my own calculate for 2 evade. So I just take the crit, and it's a damaged engine.
All right, not the end of the world. Like, damage engine it sucks to lose the blues, but at least they're not red.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's
like
manageable.
I guess the 1 hard and 3 hard are now red, but like your 2 hard is still white.
I mean, the 2 hard's the go-to anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
then we get to Dirge.
Who I believe sync lasers into the same target.
Yeah, makes sense. Can't spend calculates.
Gets 2 hits. I roll 1 evade, so I take 1 more damage. Then we go to
like your Grievous.
My Grievous, who does have the range 1 into Dirge. After re-rolls, I end up with 3 hits and a crit. 1 evade goes through, and the crit is a direct hit. So we know.
Alrighty.
We know Dirge is getting that one back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all right. Dirge is down to 2. Like, nice. Okay.
Then his Grievous has the range 3 out of arc shot into your wounded bombardment drone. He rolls, looks like hit, focus, spends the focus for 3.
I roll blank focus, so I spend, I think, yellow's calculate for 1 evade to live.
Then you get to shoot.
And then I shoot. And the red bombardment drone goes range... I'm pretty sure I end up running range 3 into Dirge, because I just want to try and chip that damage off. I get 1 hit. He gets 1 evade. Yellow does the same target. I get 2 hits, and I get 1 through.
And then the shell.
No, then his...
Oh, the Onderon, yeah. Yes. Probably also fires the shell, but you know.
He doesn't. He goes range 3 obstructed into Sunfac.
Ooh, interesting.
And oh no, maybe he's changed his mind. No, he must fire the shell. He's changed.
Yeah, he looks like he's shelling red.
Yeah. He ends up with hit crit. And I roll 1 evade, so I take hit crit and die.
Yep.
And then I shell Dirge with my gunship. And after molds, I end up with hit crit. It all goes through. There's a console fire and another direct hit. And at that point, I'm looking at that going, okay, I've got 8 damage through.
Yeah, okay.
2 are definitely coming out.
2 are definitely coming out.
So, we'll see.
So it all depends what those direct hits were.
He ends up with 1 left. So...
Alright, so he got slightly above average, but not unseemly.
Not absurdly. So. And then we go to the 1s. Unfortunately, my 311 doesn't have Dirge. So I do the range 1 into the gunship, and I roll blank hit, which I believe he takes. No, dodges.
He dodges because he spends his force.
Yes. The Howlchild goes range 2 into Sunfac and rolls hit crit out of hand. I roll blank evade, and it's a wounded pilot.
Everyone's favourite.
Yeah. So now I can't even do the... Alright, I'm just going to take a damage for the loose stabilizer because I've got to do a blue. And then we go to his 311, who I believe just does the range 3 shot into my 311.
It looks like he puts a damage through.
He rolls 2 hits, and I roll blank evade. Okay. But now I'm stuffed.
Alright.
Sunfac's just got to 2 straight, and he's on 1 health.
Yeah, so Sunfac is basically screwed.
Yeah. 2 straight, clear the stress. 2 straight, clear the stress. Clear the loose stabilizer. Probably get stress from the wounded pilot. It's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But it just means that his entire job in the game has been nullified, and it shows.
And that kind of like sums up like Sunfac got neutered with like the perfect combination of crits.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately that can happen.
Yeah.
And then Ryan has made the correct play and been like, okay, Sunfac is useless for a turn, probably too. Let's go kill some droids.
Yeah.
Because whilst Ryan could have tried to catch Sunfac, I think it's much more sensible to be like, if we just sweep in on the rest of Sean's list, Sunfac, by the time Sunfac is ready to actually come back in, he's going to have killed like 2 to 3 of your ships.
Yeah. I do wonder if that first turn I should have the first stress I should or this turn actually I should have done a 3 bank.
See, I was wondering about triggering the thing yourself.
Yeah, because at the time I still had 2 health left.
Yeah.
And it probably would have jumped over what I thought Ryan was going to do. It would have jumped over what Ryan did. But it would have given me more space.
Yes.
I'm not quite as heading towards the board edge. I mean, the great thing about hindsight is it may well have lined up a better shot onto the Hao Chal, but that is neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there.
But I'd also just be singly stressed this turn.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay. I can't see who's first player this turn, so we'll wait until someone moves. Yes,
indeed. But there is one thing looking for. Like, so Dirge is on his last legs. His vultures are like, they're taking some chip damage. Your vulture's taking some chip damage. Your gunship is fine, and you've still got 1 prox mine, and Grievous is trucking.
Yeah.
So it's not over. It's just gonna be tricky.
Very tricky.
Like it's easier for Ryan to win than it is for you to claw it back. If that makes sense.
I'm first player apparently, which is great. And I 2 Talon my DFS onto the rock and flip the struts.
Nice. Seems legit.
His DFS stays where he is and calculates.
I can see you're eating a shell.
Yep.
His Howard Child does a 2 Talon to the right. I actually love this because he knows Sunvac's going straight. Yeah. And so this Howard Child can just chase you forever.
Yeah, exactly. There's literally nothing I can do. So, I 1 straight with my gunship. I flip the stabilizers and I calculate. And then I 3 hard to the left with the bombardment drone. And I barrel roll to the right. And don't link it to anything. I'm just trying to get in people's way. I'm hoping Dirge might swing down to take a prox mine.
The Onderon does a 3 bank side slip to the left, and I don't know if it lands or if it bumps.
It lands,
and he gets to calculate because he's an Onderon oppressor, which is fantastic.
Grievous does a 2 bank. I knew it was going to bump into Dirge. It now bumps into the gunship, so that's fine.
Which is unfortunate, but fine. You've got an out of arc shot against. Oh no, that's your DFS. Never mind.
Yeah, that's my DFS. I take the red focus.
His Grievous does a 3 straight, and then I'm going to assume focus boost. Line up the shot into your gunship. Boost.
Dirge does a 2 hard.
All right, lining up the shot on where Sunfac was going to go. Looks like, but does land in a prox mine, so focus barrel rolls to the left to dodge it.
I mean, makes sense. And then it's a 1 health.
Yeah,
1 health Dirge.
Volan does a 5k. Takes a stress, checks to see if the Geonosian prototype is at range. So passes the strain to you, and then does a focus boost. Oh, Volan, aren't you so great?
Yeah. In perfect honesty, I should have seen that one coming and dialed in a 2, not a 1. But that's on me.
Yeah.
I was way more worried about Sunfac at that point.
Yeah, but Sunfac, that's what, 2 straight?
Yeah, 2 straight.
Clear of stress, sadness.
Yeah. Pretty much. Start of engagement. We don't lob any calculates around.
Dirge shoots sync laser cannons into Sunfac. Gets a nothing.
Yeah. Opts not to spend the focus for 1.
Then Volan shoots range 2 into your yellow bombardment drone. Gets hit crit.
I roll evade blank. The crit is a direct hit. My Grievous only has the range 0 shot, unfortunately. And I roll 1 hit, which is dodged.
Rolls an evade, unfortunately.
And then
His Grievous has a range 2 into your Geonosian prototype. Rolls triple hit.
out of hand.
Yeah, but it was a double modded one, so...
Oh, I'm not begrudging the result in the slightest. I flipped the 3 shields. My bombardment drone has a range 1 shot into the Hao Chao, and I roll nothing.
His Onderon shoots range 3 out the side into your DFS 311. Ends up forcing you to spend your calculate as he gets 2 hits, but you do dodge it.
I do dodge it.
And then your gunship shoots range 1 into Dirge, I imagine?
Dirge, yeah, sorry. I reroll and end up with hit.
Dirge rolls blank evade and dies.
Then this is my 311 rolling in range 3 into Volan because I had no other targets.
Sure.
I end up with 2 hits, which he dodges.
Yeah, he spends his focus to dodge. Then his Hao Chao rolls hit crit out of hand into Sunvac. Oh, he really had something going for you, that that boy.
I rolled 2 evades.
You know what? Not bad. You're both getting above average dice. It's just that his unfortunately are coming at the exact right times.
I mean, and are better.
Yeah.
I mean, dice are dice, but dang, it's like a 9-point swing. But I put Sunfac there is the problem. So that Sunfac died. Oh, and then you'll love this one as well.
Did he shell DFS and just one-shot him?
So 3 hits out of hand from the shell into DFS. Nothing done, and 1 shots DFS off the board, and I call it.
DFS only had 2 health, you know.
And I don't know. Call it that.
I see Vultures getting 1 shot, and I'm just like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I know. No. For me, it really was just the amount of out of the hand stuff that was, and that's in no way Ryan's fault. You know, dice are dice. He played incredibly well. It was just because it was the second game in a row. Like we played twice, and he tabled me in half an hour both times.
Like, ooh. But so the interesting thing is watching that is like, yes, there was quite a bit of out of hand stuff, but. And yes, did Sunvac get unlucky? But honestly, even if those weren't the crits that Sunvac landed, Sunvac losing 2 health round 1 is always a disaster.
Yeah, of course. Like I should have either. Well, I should have done a 2 straight.
Yeah. You should have either gone super fast or super slow.
Problem with super fast is I know Ryan's an aggressive player, and there's no way I wanted to be range 1 of both because. I'm not sure. Can you get range 1? Sorry. Because even if 5 straight boost, 5 straight tractor is effectively 7 and 7. It's 14. That's still. Is it 17 the width of the board?
I don't know.
Because if we end up just range 2, that's a disaster for me.
Yeah, I think you'd have to deploy exactly opposite him to get a chance.
To get Whereas I did not want to do that because I didn't want him to just be able to go straight. I wanted him to.
So I think you needed to obey the Luke principles, like just go slow.
Yeah.
If you, especially because you said you think he's going to go fast, so it's like saying like I think he's going to go fast, so I'm going to play into it.
I thought, I didn't think he'd boost because, particularly with Grievous, how much being stressed shuts his. Yeah. Or at least I didn't think he'd focus boost and stress himself. But yeah, and then because Sunfac wasn't able to go and do Sunfac things. Grievous and Volan did exactly what Ryan needed, which was sweep in the
flank.
Sweep in the side and delete droids. So, yeah, fair play to him. He executed the game perfectly. And yeah, like I don't know what the exact score would have ticked. I think it would have ticked up to about 14-7. I think we worked it out as.
Yeah, 14-7. You still got Grievous, but Grievous would have a hard time. Like, I feel like in a tournament you still play it out, right?
Yeah, of course. But Yeah, it's a tricky
Actually,
one.
he's holding 2 crates, so he's killed what, 5?
It is 14 because we
Yeah.
haven't done DFS and that's the problem because like I can't really afford Grievous to be grabbing a crate. And you know, all Volan has to do is turn after the bombardment drone.
Yeah.
And he can do that without worrying about the prox mine. Grievous can sweep after my gunship that's lost all its shields already. I was like, yeah, that's a tough one to come back from. Yes, in the tournament I'd play it out,
Yeah.
but
because I'm looking like for me, the bombardment drone drops the prox mine in front of DFS. DFS has no reason to leave the rock, make it annoying for people to come get him. You can side slip towards Grievous with your gunship, and that points your arc at the enemy Grievous, and then Grievous can start trying to hunt down Volan or the gunship or the droids.
But I think the issue with that is I'm 7 points behind, and he's going to be ticking up 2 points a turn. And I just don't think I have the time to do it. As we said, you know, tournament you would, of course, but at this point,
I'm just looking for outs. I'm like, there are outs. It's just going to be tricky.
The outs were I should have gone faster with the block as well, and just shove them in quicker.
Yeah.
And yeah, Grievous should have gone after 311 because it is what it is. But it was interesting. Like, it's irritating in the sense that actually I'd like to see how this game would have gone with like normal. I suppose normal, not just dice variants, like loose stabilizer and panicked. Either one of those. Okay, you're kind of all right
so
with.
I guess the question is, if you didn't have to do a straight with Sunfac, what move do you do? Because I think Ryan might have done the exact same moves as he did, because basically, because essentially Volan's gonna line up his proton rocket whether you want him to or not, unless you really hamstring Sunfac.
But no, that's the thing. I should have gone faster with them that turn.
Yeah.
I should have yeeted them in because it would have been much harder for him to line up that rocket. Like
it would depend because obviously he didn't have to reposition at all to line it up right. But
no,
we'll see.
But he hang on, because we've reached the end, we can scoot it literally back to that spot. So he's there, and that was after I'd done a 1 straight. If I'd done a 4 straight,
true, he wouldn't have lined up the rocket.
Like maybe he can barrel roll into range 1 still, but then
he'd still get the shot.
If he's range 1 and he doesn't kill me, I drop a prox mine out the back and he's going over it. Like, and actually, I think being closer to the gunship would have been better because they're probably less of a threat at range 1.
Yeah.
Or certainly the threat is more equalised than it would be otherwise, because he's firing shells at me, I'm just 2 dice plinking back at him.
Yeah. Especially because also you want to put your prox mines out. I was surprised you went slow the second round. Like, the gunship going a little slow, I get it. The gunship's holding Kraken, it's holding a crate, it doesn't want to invite getting shot by lots of things. And you'd rather you want to avoid as many shells as you can, right? Like, there's no point putting yourself in DFS's shell range for fun.
I mean, what I should have done with the gunship that round was actually 2 straighted. Because I still could have picked up the crate. And then I flip the stabilizers and I can side slip. Whereas obviously now I'm hampered by the rock unless I'm going towards that. And maybe I should have gone and tried to block, but that's so you've got to call that perfectly.
Yeah. But we're also getting into the weeds a little bit. We're getting like 2 turns into theoretical lands.
I do that.
Yeah.
But
it's tricky because it's. Yes, had Sunfac not got loose stable panic pilot, you do different moves, you line up shots and you start doing Sunfac things. But I think Ryan's game plan maybe stays the same.
I think so. Like, his game plan was nuke the bombardment drones, which worked. And Dirge being Dirge.
Yeah. Because even like 2 damage down, Sunfac can't go like, all right, we'll go head to head with this dude. Because what if you don't get the one shot? We all know what Sunfac does when he wants to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it was interesting. Like, Dice definitely played a part of it, but I don't think maybe they were critical, but it definitely felt like it wasn't like the massive deciding factor. This just felt like
I literally just think it was like dice wise. I think it was for the game. It was the hit crit from Grievous, and that's just one roll, and that happens. That combined with what crits were certainly not what cost me the game, but made it 10 times harder.
Yes.
Like, it was immediately turned to an uphill battle. So. But yeah.
Alright, that's an interesting send-off into Sith Takers.
Yeah.
We'll leave my droid swarm on the sidelines for a bit, but yeah, I mean, my list is already submitted. It was submitted the moment I signed up for Sith Takers, so
yeah, I should probably submit mine soon.
Yeah, gotta get it in.
Really go work for some turn 0 stuff. Should I do the bad parenting where I just shove the kids on the tablets while I'm sat on the table working out?
Probably not.
No, probably not.
I feel like any question where it's like, should I be a bad parent is probably just no.
I'd be a fun parent. Right. On that note, I will wrap it up for this week. We will be back next week to recap how STO went.
Yeah, and then possibly say our goodbyes.
Yeah, well, I hadn't got to that, but yeah, I was going to save that for next week.
Yeah, well, give people some warning.
Yeah, well, we might as well do it now then, hadn't we? Next week pretty much will be the last episode for the foreseeable future because, well, if we're being quite frankly honest, the stuff that came up when we went on a hiatus last time hasn't really resolved itself. We just enjoy doing the podcast, so we've been doing it again, and yeah, pretty much. It's because it's getting harder and harder to fit the time in. Both of us have more commitments these days. I've literally, let's call it, started a new job, which has taken up a lot more of my time. So yeah, we're not going to say it's over because. Well, we took a pause before.
We said that last time, and then we came back.
There might be a season 3.
Things might change.
You never know. But yeah, for the foreseeable, well, I say for the foreseeable, we'll be back next week, and then for the foreseeable. So until then, ta-ta.
Yeah, ta-ta from me.